Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity, y'all, to either make money in the market or to just learn from the market, right? But let me go ahead and give my disclaimer, y'all. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth, and the stock market is just one of those avenues, y'all. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at the VIX, and as you can see, we were trying to create a gathering spot. Right now we had support marked at 1249 and resistance around the 1253 area. I would definitely watch. The VIX is trying to tell us it doesn't know which direction it's going in at this point, right? So 1258 is our pre-market high thus far. We are right at the 5 EMA. We could find support here and stay, and bounce back to the upside, or we may break through and continue down, which will send the SPY to the upside. So I would definitely watch, the 1244, see how we just dropped below this area. That 1245 area is right at our 220 EMA. So I would definitely watch those areas for the VIX to the downside. That is our support place as of now. Or our support area, let me rephrase that, to the upside. If we come down and find support at this 5 EMA, looking at it on the 1 hour, 1247, then we can, find support here and bounce back to the upside. We'll again take the SPY to the downside. So let's go look at the SPY just to see where we are, because right now the VIX is telling us that the SPY should be going to the upside. And that's exactly what's trying to take place here, right? So the SPY, we had support at 529.90 and it closed at 529.44. So we're not far from that close. It looks like SPY is trying to break past, this 530.24 area. We are above the 5 EMA and the 20 EMA. So I would definitely watch the SPY. The VIX was showing us that the SPY was trying to go back to the upside. So pre-market high thus far is 531.24. Can we come back and retest that? We absolutely we can, right? So I would definitely watch above the 5 EMA, above the 530.36. We need to stay above that to the upside. Let's see where our trouble places are for resistance, looking at it on a higher time frame. And right now, that 5 EMA, looking at it on the 1 hour, is going to be trouble for us. As you can see, that 530.45, it needs to break above that and close above that in order for us to continue to the upside, and know that we're going to have trouble at 531.70, 532.32, 532.66, and 533.07. If it goes to the upside, those areas are going to be trouble places for us. Looking at it on this 4-hour time frame, it looks as if it's creating a double top. But I would say, again, I always say, y'all, trade carefully, trade cautiously, right? So let's see. SPY was an inside day, and I did a video of inside day candles because we had a lot of them for today, inside day candles. So if the SPY breaks above, let's say 530.24, then the target is the 533.07, and if it breaks below 526.84, then the target to the downside is 524.66. So I would definitely watch those areas. Looking at it again on the to the downside, if we break the 529.90, the 50 EMA is at 529.76, so we can come down, find support here. If not, the 200 EMA is at the 529.43. And again, y'all, we can move in either direction today. The market is just kind of like giving us one of those slow pace, slow moving type things, right? SPY normally moves $3.62 per day. So I would say if I traded the SPY, I would trade carefully. As of now, it's just kind of like trading in that zone, not too high, not too low. So again, y'all, trade carefully. Let's go to Tesla. Tesla is, I always say this, y'all, Tesla is Tesla. It too is an inside day candle. So right now we are under the 5 EMA. We're finding support on this 200 EMA. Looking at it on this 30-minute chart, we are out of that gathering spot that I had marked for Tesla, which was around the 178.34 as support, 178.69 as resistance, but we're under that now. So right now our 5 EMA is our resistance at 178.16, and our support is this 200 EMA at 177.66. So I would definitely watch Tesla at this area, it looks like it wants to trade to the downside. It is an inside day candle. So if it should break below 173.83, then the target will be 173.16. Now to the upside, we could very well break above this 178.69, which, we're finding support at this 200. So we could very well go back to the upside. It will definitely need to break this 20 EMA at 178.39 and continue up, but above 179.99 gives us a target for Tesla at 181.84. So I would definitely say trade carefully today if I traded Tesla, and I do believe it is an inside week target, but we're going to look at it on the daily right now. I would just say trade carefully. Tesla needs to stay above, where we are now. We need to stay above the 177 area so that we can continue to the upside. Or, if it breaks this level, we could very well come back to the downside. 176.65 is our ATR trailing stop. So that too is support for Tesla to hold, stop it from dropping. It's what I always say. What's going to prevent this from continuing to the downside? So looking at it on this higher time frame, Tesla is under the 5, the 20, and the 50 EMA on the 1 hour chart, which is interesting, right? So we can come back down to this 177.19 area or the 177.11 area. Should we break that, then I would definitely watch the 176.72 because that is our 200 EMA on the 1 hour chart. Now, looking at it on the 4 hour chart, Tesla has come down and tested this 50 EMA twice at 177.19. It would not surprise me to see it drop below that because it has been support before, right? So, it has, come down and tested that and bounced from there. So below that 177.16, 177.19, I'm going to set an alert right here because that lets me know that Tesla has broken through a level of support. If it should come back to this area, just know that if we break this area, 175.46 could very well be our next support area, looking at it on a higher time frame. And Tesla's chart is just interesting to me because the candles are just moving in a different pattern. The pattern is different. It looks like it's been just trading sideways, looking at it on this daily chart. And we had this move here on 521, but we came back down to just, trading sideways. And Tesla moves normally $6.94 per day. So if you trade Tesla, I always say y'all trade carefully, wait on your confirmations. But as of right now, it's giving us, it looks as if it wants to trade to the downside. But again, when the bell rings, I'm telling you, it could be go time and everything could just change. Let me say that. So don't rush into your trade. So NVDA is interesting. It reached $1,100 today pre-market. It closed at 1064.69. We are up pre-market, so it's going to give us a gap that's going to need to be filled to the downside. As of now, I have support marked at 1085.24, resistance at this 1099.80 or the 1100 area. So we need to be careful because NVIDIA can trade in this range. I call that the gathering spot. We can trade in this gathering spot, if it would need to break above the 1100 and close above that area. So I will set an alert to let me know that, NVIDIA is above resistance from this morning. Now, if we break under the 1085, around the 1083 area, then we have broken through a level of support to the downside. So I definitely need to watch that area also. So where are we going to have trouble? That's interesting, right? So we could very well, if we lose support at this 5 EMA at the 1093.87, we can come back and retest the 1085.24. If we break that, the 20 EMA and the ATR trailing stop is around the same area, 1079.75 and 1076.79. So if we break this ATR trail and stop, we could very well come back to the 1059.05. So that's going to be our, our trouble places for NVIDIA. I mean, although it could very well continue climbing, it moves $33.07 per day. You can see this gap on the daily chart here that needs to be filled from 522 to 523. There's a gap, and then it's going to gap higher today. So, and create a gap to the downside. So if I traded NVIDIA, I would always say, y'all, just trade carefully. Make sure you have confirmation as to why you're entering your trades. Do know that it is making higher highs today. It is, going to gap up higher. So at some point, it's going to come back down to fill those gaps. So I always say, trade what you see and trade carefully. So AMD is our next one. And AMD is, to me, is so much like Tesla. So our gathering spot for AMD, let's see, it's right here. I always try to go to our 4 o'clock candle, which would have been here. We broke out of that gathering spot, which would have been somewhere around that area. But right now it came down and created another one for us down here at the 168.05 up to the 168.61 is the levels that I would watch for AMD. And because this is where the body of those candles are as of now. So we are under the 5 EMA looking at it on this 30-minute chart, which is interesting, you know, that it made the 169.55 pre-market high only to come back down. We're finding support at that 168.05 area. As you can see, those candles have come back. The body of the candles have come back to this area. So if we break the 168.05, then 167.66 or 167.60 are support places for us. Should we break the 167.60, we could come back down to 166.68. And below that 166.68, then the 50 EMA is at 166.17 and the 200 EMA is at 164.27. Keep in mind those are going to be support areas for AMD, and this is looking at it on a higher time frame. We are right here at that 168 area, 168.05, and AMD closed at 166.36. So we're going to gap up today, which is going to create a gap to the downside. So I would say again, y'all pay very close attention. If I traded AMD today, just be mindful that there is a downside gap that needs to be filled. Again, if we break the 167.66 and the 166.99, then our next support area is at 166.53 and 165.51. Those are going to be trouble places. 164.61 is another trouble place for us. AMD normally moves $5.77 per day, and it too, it looks like it is an inside day candle. And with that, let's see, let me go to a higher time frame so I can make sure. I would definitely watch below 160.25 will give us a target of 158.23, and above the 169.11 is going to give us a target of 173.10. So I would definitely watch AMD if I traded that today. I always say y'all trade carefully, trade cautiously, and let's look at the Qs as QQQ. I did have that because it was an inside day candle also. So above 459.23 gives us a target of 460.58. Below 453.51 gives us a target of 451.85. It too has been trading in this zone here, and it didn't make this hard. It looks as if we've already reached that target of 460.57. Look, it's very close to this 460.58. So looks like we've already reached our target to the upside for that inside day pre-market, which is interesting, right? So right now we're under the 5 EMA and the 20 EMA. It came down, broke through this ATR trailing stop, which was around the 458.81 area, only to find support at 458.40. So it has tested this 50 EMA. Is it going to come back down and break through that? And if it does, then 456.40 is our next level of support for the Qs. I would say trade carefully because it's been trading in this zone. As you can see, that's where most of our bodies of the candles are here. So I would say watch it. It needs to break above 459.33 and close above that in order for us to continue to the upside. Looking at it on this 30-minute chart. Looking at it on the 1 hour, this is our gathering spot here. This is the zone that the Qs have been trading here. So if we go, I would say around the 459.65 down to about 459.08, that is our gathering spot. We've been trading in this zone, looking at it at the 1 hour chart. So again, it tested the 458.73 area, and if we break where we are below this the low of this candle, let me rephrase that, below the low of this candle, 458.29 area here, if we break this, then we can come back to 457.59. So I would definitely say watch the Qs today. QQQ is an inside day candle. We have already reached the target pre-market. Doesn't mean that we can't continue higher or, you know, reverse and come back to the downside. I believe SQQQ is an inside day also. Let's go back to see. Yes. So above 982 gives us a target of 999, and below 949 gives us a target of 943. And as you can see, we've already reached that. We broke through it and we reached it. That's why it's really important sometimes, to mark those inside day candles. It gives us an idea of how to stop could trade, and it gives us support and resistance, and it kind of helps build a watch list. So if you get a chance, please check out that video, y'all. Again, I am super excited. I hope that everyone have a very profitable day today. Do not rush into your trades. Yesterday was a holiday, and the market could be very different. I would say don't get caught in your trades thinking it's going to do one thing and then it does the opposite. Wait on your trades and allow them to come to you. So the SPY again is still trading in our zone. Again, support is around 529.90. Resistance is this 5 EMA around the 530.31. So SPY needs to break above that area. I'm going to put an alert above the high of this candle just to let me know that SPY is above an area of resistance. That means it's broken through that area. So back to Tesla. Let's see where we are. Tesla is declining. It looks like we have broken out of our support area around that 178.31. So Tesla came down. The low of this candle here is 177.20. It looks as if it wants to trade to the downside. Looking at it on this 30-minute chart, the 5 and the 50 looks like it wants to cross to the downside. So I would say y'all trade carefully and just remember, make sure you have confirmation as to why you're entering. And when it goes against your why, get out. So again, y'all, I hope these videos are very helpful. I again hope that everyone have a very productive day, a very prosperous day. And y'all know I always like to leave you with this, right? Be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.